Look forward to your comments. David has worked as a chief financial officer and city manager for 4 cities in Southern California for over 38 years. Currently, he donates his time as president of Creative Alternative for Learning and Living in Atascadero. They care for 20 autistic, Down syndrome, and other challenged adults. And he also still does consulting on a professional basis with cities through the company he owns called California Governmental Agencies. No, pardon me, his company called Revenue Allocation Management. You're going to talk about taxes. Are you going to depress us some more? Maybe I should let him speak. Thank you very much for coming here. We look forward to your comments.
Well, good morning, folks. I got a poem here the other day from a very, very good friend of mine who happens to also be my wife. So I want to read this poem because it relates to what we're suffering with today. And it has to do with taxes. And it starts out, tax his land, tax his bed, tax the table at which he's fed. Tax his work, tax his pay, he works for peanuts. Anyway, tax his cow, tax his goat, tax his pants, tax his coat, tax his tobacco, tax his drink, tax him if he tries to think. Tax his car, tax his gas. Find other ways to tax his, and it begins with an A. Tax all he has, then let him know that you won't be done till he has no dough. When he screams and hollers, then tax him some more. Tax him till he's good and sore. Then tax his coffin, tax his grave, tax the sod in which he's laid. When he's gone, do not relax. It's time to apply the inheritance tax. So every one of you sitting out there, for the remainder of your life, are going to have to suffer with the tax mentality of the people that we elect to serve us locally, statewide, and nationally. Take a look at this chart back here. Seems it was pretty level, going on for years and years and years. But all of a sudden, starting in 1981, it hit $1 trillion. And now what is it? It's 5.8 trillion and projected for 14.3 trillion today. 14.3 trillion today. So when I look at that, I say, wow. What more do I have to say about whether or not our elected representatives are going to Sacramento and to Washington, D.C. with their own agendas rather than we the people agendas? It's right there. There's 14.3 trillion reasons for us to be upset. And unless you're willing to stand up, unless you're willing to send emails, unless you're willing to get on the phone, and unless you're willing to be responsible for allowing our government to usurp the power that the people have, that is what is occurring. The power that the people reserve to themselves in the Constitution is being taken by our elected representatives. There's some 40-some odd taxes: accounts receivable, airline, fuel tax, airport maintenance tax, building permit tax, cigarette tax, corporate income tax, death tax, dog license tax, driving permit tax, environmental tax, excise taxes, federal income tax, fishing license tax, food license tax, gasoline tax, gross receipts tax, health tax, hunting license tax, hydro tax, inheritance tax, interest tax, liquor tax, luxury taxes, Medicare tax, marriage license tax, mortgage tax, ad infinitum. Think this is funny? Not one of these, well, very few of these taxes existed 60 years ago. We had almost no debt. Had a middle class, a large middle class, and mom stayed home to take care of the kids. What in hell happened? I'm going to give you the answer to that question. Do you know how to spell politicians? I'm not standing here telling you what I know you already know is a problem, but what I'm saying is that Social Security is supposed to have $1 trillion in cash. It's not in cash, it's in IOUs from the federal government. The federal government took our money and used it for other purposes and said, it's okay, we're just going to give you an IOU. If our government had to pay that $14.3 trillion in taxes, do you think our dollar would be worth anything today? No. So what I'm saying, I think we should put the politician under Social Security if we want to fix Social Security. And I'd be willing to bet that it would be fixed in 3 months. So why don't we just do that? Because we've got to get organized. I think that we should say to Congress, Congress cannot exempt itself from any law it makes. Yes. How do we do that? We get off our backsides and take action to do that. All proposed bills submitted by Congress must be a single-use bill. My God, how unique. 3, 4 items and we could change the whole course of our government. If we, the people, would take back the powers that we reserve to ourselves in the United States Constitution. Thank you very much for listening to me, folks.